Alright, hello and welcome back to Torment Tides of Numenera, the new story-based RPG from inXile Entertainment. So far, I'm really enjoying this game. The universe is fascinating, even though we've only played through a little bit of it. Another thing that I'm really appreciating is the way they're dealing with the complexity of a game like this. In these larger story-based RPGs, they tend to get a little overwhelming. There's a lot of moving parts, you have to manage all sorts of abilities and spells and items and inventory and interlocking quests and all this stuff, and it can be really, well, overwhelming, I guess. And so far, I feel like not only have they given us kind of this nice introduction, but it looks like that, at least from the beginning here, they've got a nice balance here between, well, I don't know, between accessibility and simplicity and really taking the time to have this in-depth story that they're crafting. So, anyway, let's continue on. So when we last left, we just met our brand new friends. Oh, neat. And we were getting prepared to venture forth. So, one thing I haven't done is actually talk to any of these people yet. So, I've got these guys. I'm not totally clear. Okay, I'm stupid. Okay, so, let's take a look here. So, Alagern is a hardened nano who fights with his demons. Okay. So he's got a vest with some armored resistance. And a mace? Alright, excellent. Wow! Look at how many ciphers he can carry. 5 is good. That's a lot. So I will definitely have another cipher bot here. He's spec'd out a little different, though. That's interesting. Okay. And taking a look at Calestige here, so she has a really crazy dress. Endless copies of the same dress belong to her sisters. Cute. And a dimensional mantle. Ooh. Cannot be unequipped. Occasionally see flashes of a cloth material similar to Calestige's dress simmering around her form. It appears to be some kind of connective tissue between her and her echoes. That's really cool. Alagern's dusty leather coat has seen long years of use. Pockets line its surface, and a latticework of wires covers over a strange star on the jacket's breast. This is already really interesting. Do you guys have anything to say for yourselves here at the moment?
I don't like the smell of this dome. Let's go. Sooner, not later.
Complain, complain, complain.
We should not tarry in this chamber long. No doubt others saw your dramatic entrance as well.
Dramatic, falling out of the upper atmosphere. Surely you jest, madam. So, we have our nice quest lined up here. It says find a way to fix the thing. We're moving on to either meet with the cultists of the Changing God or the Order of Truth. I'm not super huge on the whole idea of a cult, but then the Order of Truth also apparently has priests. So, let's just continue on our way. This is very exciting. The red tide represents passion, emotion, action, and zeal. It's the tide of people whose goal is to live in the moment, to experience life to its fullest, or to follow their heart wherever it leads them.
I need to talk to you.
Yes?
This is the reef of fallen worlds, kid. It's a dangerous place at the best of times. And with you lighting up the sky as you fell, well, we should get out of here as soon as possible.
Seems legit. Calestige, why were you looking at me when you said that? I wasn't, he growls. Don't be so paranoid. But when she isn't looking, he raises his eyebrow at you knowingly. Okay, so what makes the reef so dangerous? The Numenera of the past are always dangerous, but there are other dangers too, some closer than others. Well, alright. So, keep talking. Oops, sorry. Okay, so what's your explanation of what the Numenera are here? So Alagern says, you want me to tell you? He laughs without mirth. The Numenera are all around you, everything left over from the prior worlds. Sagas Cliffs thrives by trading artifacts from ancient civilizations. Hell, you can't scoop an armful of earth without finding drift from prior worlds mixed with it. Numenera is everything. Shoot, this didn't work here. Is everything from the prior worlds, but mostly would mean the stuff of value to us. A lot of the Numenera is just oddities, fancy trinkets with little real use, but sometimes you'll get a cipher that lets you do something incredible. Artifacts are worth even more. A cipher will only do something once, but artifacts last a lot longer, although they can burn out at the most inconvenient times. Not that that's ever happened to me. Of course, we've got no idea what most of this junk was originally intended for. In most cases, it doesn't really matter. Like you might find what used to be a propulsion unit for a star chariot, but who knows what the hell enough to bet? Man, who the hell knows enough to build you the rest of it? Better to use it as a weapon or a power source. He scowls, frustrated about something. I'll bet we could remake the world if we knew a tenth of the secrets of the ancients, but most days it's just a challenge to survive. So, what's going on with your tattoos? They look almost alive. These? They're nothing. Call them a consolation if you must, he smiles grimly. Some call them by worse names, but that's because they've had occasion to run afoul of these little snakes. He looks away. This line of questioning is clearly at an end. So, what's your story? Ask me again when we get out of here. I don't trust this damned reef any more than the company we keep. Why? What do you think of Calistiche? A parasite, designed as a scholar. Don't be surprised if she betrays you before the day is done. Actually, that'd be slow for her. So then, why are you traveling with her? He clenches his mouth shut, and you can see his jaw muscles working. She said she could help me with a problem I had. We never seemed to get anywhere with my business, but I find plenty of time for hers. He looks you square in the eyes. It wasn't something I'd care to do again. Keep that in mind when you talk to her. Okay, well, what do you think we should be doing next? You want to fix that crystal chamber back there, yeah? First step is getting out of this reef. Alright, alright. Off we go.
It's a plan.
Ooh.
Of course.
Two floating cones whirl and spin deliriously around each other, giggling like children being tickled. The air around them smells of sweet burning leaves. Can I talk to them? Let's watch them for patterns first. The longer you stare at these artifacts, the more you're convinced that they turn faster when their spiraling paths cross each other. Let's try talking to it, so what are you? The cones continued whirling and laughing like enraptured dancers, giving no sign they've heard you. What are you for? The cones greet your question with a split second of hushed silence, following by delighted peals of helpless giggling. Allegren says they aren't for anything. They're from one of the worlds before this one. Allegren rubs his hand along his stubble jaw. Sometimes the Numenera will do something useful. Sometimes they'll turn you inside out. And sometimes they don't do a damn thing that makes sense. Fair enough. Calistiche says, I've often said the same thing about you, darling. Do I touch it? Sure. This is probably a terrible idea. You manage to graze one of them with the tips of your fingers. Roar, a voice says, and your vision is stolen from you. A moon hangs over you, but it is not the one you recognize. It's blackened in a pearl-white sky. Thick, flat asteroids orbit it like petals in the wind. You feel questing tendrils at your ankle, and the hot wind on your face smells of scorched hair and grief. Your vision returns. The cones hang motionless for only a second before resuming their giggling dance. You guys have anything else to say? Nope. Well, let's leave them alone. Wow. Okay. I'd say that's illuminating, but seriously it wasn't. What is going on here? These droplets.
In an instant.
Ooh, look, more things to poke. Although this cube hovers in the air, you can feel the ground shudder with its vibrations. A long cable extends from this spout, but at the point where it dips below the water, it's been snapped in half. Huh, interesting. Well, here, this is kind of a dead end down here, so let's go poke at this super quick. Now, what are these things?
Yes. Now.
Everyone loves loot. Man, I'm not even sure how to try pronounce this. Elutriated Force. Heals 3 points of might. This crystal pulses with vibrant energy, softly expanding and contracting as if breathing in and out. A needle protrudes from the crystal's center. If inserted into a vein, the crystal's pulsing energy can be absorbed to increase the user's physical stamina and muscle mass for a short time. These crystals are purified from a murky liquid found rarely in the Garavia Sound. Their origin is unknown, and the process to harvest them without destroying the active substance is difficult, but the supply appears plentiful. I'm going to click use item on one of these. Ah, good. Here's another one of our little mystery mosses. just looking around to see what else I can see. Like,
Yes.
this is amazing. Can I walk over here?
Allow me.
What is this? A bubbling mass of sludge floats on the surface of the water. Every once in a while, an oily nodule separates from it and hurtles into the sky. You catch momentary glimpses of a muck-coated object in the putrid mass. So let's take a look at this sludge. Carefully, you lean closer to the heaving mass. After a moment's study, you notice that the globules rising into the sky always contain something, be it a shining core of untainted seawater or a tiny fish. The currents within the sludge move in a repeating pattern that suggests mechanical function rather than organic life. We're totally going to reach in here. 60%. Are you guys quicker? Here, 95. Boy, that's a lot of points. Okay. Success. Ciphers. You have found a cipher. Ciphers are Numenera objects that can trigger a powerful effect, but can only be used once. Ciphers and your cipher limit score are displayed in a special section of your inventory screen. Take care not to accumulate more ciphers than your cipher limit, or you will experience unpleasant side effects. That was that whole exciting appendages bit. The next time sunlight strikes the object's streaked face, you're ready. You snatch it from the oily mass and clean it as best you can. Fresh vapors. Heals 10 points of intellect and confers fresh vapors, which is +1 intellect. Okay. A simmering jar made of metallic glass. Inside the jar rests a strange miasma. Its vapors sit crystalline and perfectly still until held. The glass vessel twists and writhes when grasped. When you put your ear to the device and listen closely, sounds of weeping and hysterical laughter rise from within. Warm to the touch, once inhaled the vessel becomes ice cold. The user feels panic, fear, nausea, and then sweet relief, a torrent of emotions akin to getting a full rest. That is cool. I'm not sure whether that awful muck is harmful or if you were immensely lucky. Either way, do go on poking for things. It's quite entertaining. Poke, poke, poke. Nothing. Okay.
Go.
A cable connects this spout to the collection nozzle. It looks like it may have been attached to another machine at some time. Yes. Yes, it was. It's on the other side there. This device is collecting black goop from somewhere underwater and pumping it to the nearby spout. The strange lines and rippling forms of the sunken buildings are dramatically different from the architecture above the waterline. Oh, that's neat.
It is
I was
done.
wondering what I was looking at. More loot. Excellent. So, we've got some more of our int stuff, and more of our might, and some cash. Excellent.
As you wish.
Is this a building? Do we want to go into it?
Of course.
The metal door is thick, heavy, and unmarked by time. Double rows of circular bumps run horizontally and vertically across its surface. It is firmly sealed. Let's take a look at this a little more carefully. The metal surface is infused with minuscule threads that are barely visible to the human eye. They are run only in straight lines and right angles, and they seem to converge on the circular bumps. Upon closer inspection, you notice that each of the bumps is unique. Some have flat faces, some are actually many-sided polygons, and a few are marked by tiny apertures. Unfortunately, you don't see anything that resembles a knob, keyhole, or access device. You try touching both the flat planes of the door and the small bumps, but nothing happens. Can we knock on you? The door makes no sound at all, nor does it shudder or yield. Okay, interesting. Let's try to remember that.
All right.
Oh, this is a thing? Okay, I gotta work on my pixel hunting. A matte black obelisk floats in the midair above the water. It has sharp, curved sides that converge to a glowing tip that brightens or dims with the passing of the bay's faint breezes. Do I touch it? Yes, I touch it. You raise your hand towards the obelisk. Dull green light wells from within the black stone, fixed on you like a furious eye. Uh-oh. I knew someone who did what you're about to do, Allegren says casually. Aeon Priest. A beam came out of the top of that thing and ripped his face off. Made a fancy nightlight out of his crystal necklace, though, but hey, I'm sure you know what you're doing. Kalashi says, oh hush, At least that poor priest died in service of his curiosity rather than stumbling about the coast, complaining and feeling sorry for himself. Go ahead if you must, if she tells you, ignoring Allegren's glare, but do be careful. He said something about, like, something neat with the crystal happening. Let's try reaching the crystal shard towards the obelisk. Carefully, you level the shard at the obelisk, and a superheated beam lances from the top of the structure into the crystal, sending vibrations up your arm and suffusing the shard with a warm green glow.
Good balance.
What did that do? Infused crystal shard. In the Reef of Fallen Worlds, a superheated beam from a mysterious black obelisk struck the shard, infusing the crystal with the obelisk's power. Cool. Okay.
All right.
This looks like hands. A tangled cluster of metallic tendrils grows from the depths of the nearby water. Strangely, they resembled clawed alien hands, most of which have 7 or 8 figures. Let's take a look. The hands sway softly, but their movements are difficult to follow. Watching them for too long makes you feel nauseous. Apart from the hands themselves, you don't notice anything of interest in the cluster. I don't know if I want to touch it. Let's give it a try. Oh, this is not going to go well. 80%? Failed. You grab hold of one of the wrists and pull with all your strength, but the stem is stronger than it looks. Hidden layers of thin, incredibly sharp spines, some sort of defense mechanism, emerge from the metallic surface and pierce your flesh, burrowing into the meat beneath. The pain quickly subsides, replaced by a numb but oddly pleasant sensation. You feel an icy liquid flowing, hardening over the bones and tendons of your arm. When you clench your fist, veins of steel shine through the bloody skin. Took 1 damage, but I gained 1 health. Okay. You know what? Let's cut our losses. I mean, that wasn't a loss. That worked out really well for us, but... Okay, so here's the thing that used to be attached, but we haven't seen a way to do anything to it yet. Neat. Force beams.
In an instant.
Huh, is that being blocked by this thing? Wait, let's watch that again. Huh.
You got it.
Scary music means this is gonna be bad. We're gonna throw it down here or what? Hello! As you step onto what looks like the back of an enormous construct, 4 strangers approach you. In the lead is a wiry man with parallel scars running from cheek to collarbone on the left side of his face. He gives you a welcoming smile, pulling on gray gloves embedded with pulsing lights. He's about to say something to you when he notices Calistege. Quoro. Cal! Thought you'd sworn off trawling the reef. Found anything tasty? His eyes travel up and down, both you and Allegren. Calistege says, Odds and ends, Quoro. Nothing that would interest you, I'm sure. Her words are calm, but she's gone suddenly still. So, what do you want, dude? Right to the point, this one, isn't he? I know most of the draft that scavenges the reef these days, but it's a rare pleasure to see a new face. His smile is disarming. All I want is information. A falling star landed here not long ago. I don't suppose you were around to see it. Allegren says, I don't trust them. He hisses in your ear loud enough that Calistege can hear him. Any friend of hers is a cheat, a killer, or both. I'm not convinced they're friends. Calistege says, What does that say about you, dear? She gives Allegren a venomous smile. Killer or not, she whispers, Quoro is not a man who can be trusted with unvarnished truth. Tread lightly. So, what are those gloves for? Unwelcome but anticipated complications. He does not elaborate. He does so love his ambushes, Calistege whispers in your ear again, even though her mouth is closed and she isn't looking at you. He didn't have the gloves when I knew him last, but I'd wager they're connected to the devices in this area. Ah, great. So, Quoro says, apparently unaware of Castlege's interruption, the star, have you seen it? let's see. Let's see if we can stall him. So those scars, where'd you get those, huh? Kuro says, 2 things are more dangerous than death in this world, he says, his smile widening. Asking impolite questions of strangers and playing with Numenera you don't fully understand. My era was in the latter category, and I've grown more careful since. Yeah, this is pretty pointed. So, where do you think this star landed, playing dumb? Well, if I knew that, I wouldn't be reduced to harassing noble travelers. I never saw it, but you see. My employer did and thought, who's the most trustworthy team I can send at a moment's notice? He winks. Luckily, they were on another assignment. We were interested and weren't too drunk yet, so... So, what interests you about this star here, friend? How kind of you to ask, Kuro says, clapping his gloved hands together. So few people are interested in the tangled motivations of paid explorers. He spreads his arm as if holding the sky and continues. The world is littered with ruins and fascinating secrets. The trouble is, anyone can claim them. But when something falls from the sky, that's rare, and a man can make his name off such a find. He pauses and then adds, we're also being paid quite handsomely. That helps. Enough chat, I think, he says, and there's no humor in his smile now. Where's the falling star? Do we tell him the truth? Or do we try to lie about this? We suck at lying. I'm gonna lie to him. I'll be honest with you, man. I saw the star, but I don't know where it landed. Okay. Crap. We're boned. 75%, that's not bad. Okay, let's put the heart in it. I really don't want to tell this guy anything true. Success. Excellent. Coral studies you for a long moment before sighing. Alright, he says. Well, do let us know if you spot anything of interest. I'd like to say it would pay for the privilege, but if we were rich, we wouldn't be down here, would we? Whew. Glad we pulled that one off. I don't really want to throw down with the first people I meet. He didn't seem like a guy that I really wanted to, I don't know, talk to. So Allegren says, nice thinking, kid. That would have been a fiasco. You figured out why they were here, right? Let's see. Do I think they were ambushing anyone? No, I'm pretty sure that they were more or less straight. They saw me fall from the sky and came to investigate. Allegren says, oh sure, and they just had that ambush ready to go at the same time as we're leaving. No, kid, Kalashis sold us out. I don't think so, Kalashis says. Excuse me? Are you suggesting I had something to do with Kuro's plans? Are you suggesting you didn't? An old friend of yours just happens to be waiting for us, armed and outnumbering us, as soon as we return from the greatest find the reef has seen in years? It's too convenient for me. Too convenient by far. I disagree. Of all the idiotic, paranoid delusions. You really believe this, don't you? You really believe I'd use a half-foot like Kuro to stab you in the back, rather than do it myself? You see, kid, she'll stab you in the back first chance she gets. Most likely in your sleep. Note to self, sleep on back. He throws up his hands, forestalling Kalashis' retort. Look, I don't care. Fact is, can't trust you anymore, and I wonder why I ever did. This is the last time we travel together. I've got enough to worry about without having to watch my back 28 hours a day. Oh, you've gained some hours. Okay. He turns to you. You coming, kid, or what? Allegren, I really don't think she was trying to betray us. Allegren snorts bitter laughter. I do. You haven't seen 1/10 of her depths. Not 1/20th. She's a backstabbing bitch, mark my words. Profanity. Kalashi says, you're insufferable to the end, Allegren. Looking for the worst in a situation is the only way you know to see. Do you know how long I've carried your pain for you? How much I've had to turn away from your judgmental stares? But you're right, I've had enough. She turns to you, child. I'm happy to guide you, but I will not walk another step with this paranoid buffoon. Finally, something we agree on, he growls. Kid, she'll chop your head off and spit down your throat. I'll get you where you need to go and let you sleep through the night to boot. It's up to you. Seriously, guys, I've known you for about 15 minutes. Can't you just work it out so we can all travel on together? Kalashis bursts out laughing. My dear boy, we have been working on it. Allegren's petulance, his obstinacy in the face of fact, driving me away every day. He might be strong, but he's also thick. I dare you to try traveling with him and see how long you endure. Not as long as I have, I'd wager. Allegren's face darkens under her accusations, but he manages a pained smile. As if you're doing me a favor by staying with me? Do you think I don't see your true self in all these echoes around you? That's you, Kalashis, every facet of it. Your vivisectionist heart hasn't changed, just the way you present it. I thought I could help you, but... Great. So far neither of these guys have really covered themselves in glory to my mind. Calistrige is a weird chick. I don't know what she's up to. Aligern is being kind of a dick. I'm not traveling on my own. Strangely enough, I'm less impressed by the bravado that Aligern is putting up with. If I'm gonna travel with someone, I think I'm gonna go with Calistrige. I don't like it, but I think that's what we're gonna go with. Alright, I'd rather travel with you. Aligern says, alright, well, if you want me and she doesn't sell you for parts, you can find me in the underbelly, but not with her, mind you. I'll let you know what you've missed, Aligern. I'm sure you won't be. Missed, that is. She links her arm possessively into yours. Let's go, child. Also, stop calling me that. I'm like 20 minutes old. Bah. Now that you've dealt with Koro and his goons, you can continue on to the city of Saga's Cliffs. To reach the city, cross the bridge at the north end of the platform. Okay, there's all these things! Cobalt petals fold over a short metal stem. Calcified minerals holds the ancient weapon closed? This massive construct was trying to climb across the top of the reef when it died. Its surface is pocked with tiny scars and scorch marks. Okay, we've seen some of these things. A spherical head hangs loosely from the stanchion. A single metal fiber holds it in place. Ooh, can I have it? No, apparently not. A sickly green crust scabs over numerous cracks and divots in this turret. Don't touch turrets. Check.
Of course.
I want to know what's going on with this thing here. It looks like it's this fence that's blocking whatever it is it's doing, and I want to know where those droplets are going. That's really bugging me. So, let's poke at this. A lemon green fluid drips from the end of the device's nozzle and hisses angrily on the metal surface beneath. Without any antagonist to aim it towards, this device doesn't serve any obvious purpose. I'll bet if we'd gotten in a throwdown, I could have... Or, no, I'll bet he would have flipped these things on and bad things would have happened to me. Okay. Well... I see some things. Okay, so these were all defenses he would have turned on. And bad things would have happened to us.
Child.
Okay. Oh, neat. Wow, look at this place. Awesome. Alright, well. I can't seem to touch anything here. Alright, let's head out. The silver tide represents admiration of power and seekers of fame. It is the tide of people who seek to influence the lives of others, or who actively seek to be remembered. Okay. Oh, I haven't found in the interface yet where it tells me, like, what my tide is, or what my tidal alignment is doing. Alright, we seek the Order of Truth, so we must find Government Square. The easiest way is via the staircase by the old clock. Okay, so now that we've made it through our first area and we're standing here, I'm going to take a quick break and we'll be back shortly. See you then.